Hi everyone and welcome to Hobby World. My name is Kim and I've had a dream. I've had a dream of building my very old full-size T-800 endoskeleton. I dreamt about this since I was a small kid many years ago and I saw the Terminator movie for the first time. Thanks to modern 3D printing technology, an understanding wife and a lot of work, I've actually managed to complete this project now. And I've received so much support here on YouTube, and I would just like to thank all the people who have commented, all the people who have seen my videos for this. This has been really motivating, so thank you all. That means so much to me. I've worked with this Terminator for around 3 months now and I'm almost finished with the project. I only need to add a bit of weathering, I need to finish the details on the base and I need to add some lights. So in this episode I'm going to wrap it all up and finish the build. Well, before we get started with the build, I have a small announcement. If you are interested, I have started a Hobby World Facebook group where I share all of my YouTube projects. I will also share my smaller day-to-day projects in this group. And finally, you are all welcome to share your own projects and talk about hobby-related stuff. I have included the link for the new group in the description and I'm looking forward to meeting all of you. That being said, let's finish the model. Well, it's Saturday and I have a couple of days off, so I think it's about time that I finish this Terminator. There are 3 things I need to do. First of all, I need to weather and add some battle damage to the robot itself. The second thing I need to do is finish the base. There are a lot of lesser things down here I need to fix up and make sure that they look perfect. And the third thing I need to do is add some light down on the side of the base that will shine up on the Terminator, creating a really nice effect of him being illuminated in potentially different colors. I have chosen red, green, blue and white as the colors I can choose between. So that's it. I'm just going to start by trying to weather his face and then I'm working on the entire body and then I'll do the base and fix the light. Well, here we are with the T-800 head. I removed it from the body and I'm just going to start the weathering process on this piece first and see how it turns out. This is a Terminator that has been operating for itself for some time, but it's not a completely worn down model. So I'm going to apply the weathering effect very thinly around the model. It's not going to take over or anything. I really like the chrome effect on the model and I do not want to destroy that. So this will just be a very clean layer of weathering I'm adding to it. Rust has a tendency of assembling itself in places where water can't get out. So in places such as this on the head, I will have to create the effect of some rust, because this is a place where it would be, and a bit up here and just a very tiny bit of rust, not too much. I'm really afraid to damage the overall look of the model, so I'm just going to use this rust effect to sort of hide the parts of the print that didn't print as well as I wanted to. And luckily the places that didn't print as nicely as I wanted them to are the places that would usually collect rust. So I'm just going to aim for those and then I'm going to weather this skull and see how it turns out. And when I'm satisfied with this, I'm going to do the entire body. Just finished applying the rust effect to the skull and this actually looks quite as I expected it to. I've added quite a bit of rust in these areas because this is also the areas I had the most printing errors. So I'm just hitting that using this rust. And The rest of the skull looks fine. A bit up here, bit in the socket with the eyes, bit down here. This looks great. Not too much, not too little. Of course, that depends on how you like your Terminator models. I like it like this. This is just the right amount. So now that the head is done, I only need to do the entire body of this Terminator. And this actually took quite some time, so I guess this is going to be a long weekend. Well, let's take a look at the body. This is the larger part of the project. The body and the lower part of the legs is going to take some time. I have a lot of errors in this, and if I should do this Terminator project again, I would probably do a lot more to remove all of the errors, but it's pretty hard to do right now. So the thing I'm going to do with this one is I'm going to hide them using the weathering as to create the illusion that it was actually intentional. So I'm going to do a video when I finish this one where I'm going through all of the things I learned, and I'm going to explain it all. So if anyone wants to copy my project or do something similar, they can learn something from it and don't do the same mistakes. I have several other projects planned. I'm currently working on just a T-800 Terminator head, which I'm going to make, and on that head I am of course going to try to learn from the mistakes I did with this complete torso. And then I have a secret project, a really large secret project I'm going to start on when I get my summer holiday in a couple of weeks. So there's a lot of good stuff coming to my YouTube channel in the near future. I recently did the Daphne Scooby-Doo model just as a small project on the side, but I have a model of Velma too, and I'm going to do that's a short, quick project I can easily fit in between all of the Terminator stuff. Now I'm just going to do a time lapse of me adding rust to this entire model. The thing I do here is actually a bit of alcohol. I'm just applying some alcohol with a bit of the pigment in it, and then after the alcohol has been added, I'm sprinkling some dry pigment on it, because then it will stay in place. The alcohol keeps it in place and makes it harden, and this gives the really nice illusion of actually having rust, as this will look like some oxidation of the surface of the metal. So this is a great trick, using some rubbing alcohol or common alcohol to do this. It will also make it flow a bit, like some water had been involved, and then make the rust, make some small streams of rust down along the edges. I'm terrible at multitasking. Speaking to a camera while working, this is absolutely horrible for me. I make so many mistakes. When I did the head just before, I actually discovered that I really liked the look of it with rust. So I'm probably going to apply a lot more rust to this than I had originally planned, which also helps me remove these errors, as I said before. So it's a win-win. Of course, it's only a win-win if you like the look of it a bit rusty, but I do. So just take a look at this. After a day's work, I've added a lot of weathering to this model. He looks really great now. This is a true Terminator. It's beaten, it's worn, it has damage. It looks just as I wanted to right now. When I started building this, or started adding the weathering today, I didn't want it to be this rusty, but as I worked with it during the day, I saw all of these 3D printed errors around the body of him, and I sort of decided that it would look really great just hiding it with a fine layer of this weathering. For example, in here and this part of the model, we have a lot of rust, which actually hides a bit of poor sanding and not a smooth part as it should have been when I applied the chrome. So this looks great. So even though I know there are some errors behind all of this, the final model will actually end up looking really great. So I'm very happy about this. Tomorrow I'm going to apply a varnish to seal this look, and then I'm going to do a lot of work on the base, make that finish that, and finally I'm going to add the small mini projectors I've designed and printed, so they can cast light up from the base here and up on the Terminator. And then I'm just going to wait until it gets evening tomorrow so I can see how he'll look in the dark with his own light source. I am very pleased with the result of this model so far. I have learned a lot doing this, and I'm definitely going to do a video just about the errors and the stuff I learned from this project, so others can learn from it, and including myself, because I have already several projects planned, and I am actually working on several projects at the moment. The moment when you walk up the stairs and you discover that there's a cat blocking you from doing your project. This is a serious disruption of my Terminator project. And this mighty beast is probably not going to let me pass without a fight. I might be able to sneak around him. Well, it's Sunday and I'm going to work on the base today. I am pretty satisfied with how the Terminator ended up. I've just removed a bit of the rust here in the daylight. I could see how much there actually was, and I think this looks really great. So I'm going to stick with it as it is right here, and then I'm going to fix up the small details on the base and then add the lights. That's it, I finally finished the base for the Terminator. I've added a lot of small details such as shells up here, a bit around. I actually just dropped them from about 1 meter's height and let them fall on the base to see where they would actually land. I thought this would create a more realistic look, and then I glued them on with super glue. I've also added some iron railings at the vents here, and then on the back side here where I've hidden the subwoofer below, I added these metal iron bars and applied some rust to them to make them fit into the landscape. I have also used 4 different kinds of pigments, some browns, some greys and so on, to really give the illusion of dust laying on top of all of this. And I am very happy about how this base turned out. I need to apply a matte varnish now, and I'm doing this to keep all of the pigments in place. It's time to solder this nice little mini projector, and I've attached the 4 diodes. I have the blue one, white, red and green, and I need to attach a single resistor to each of the legs on the back side, and then I'm going to use a glue gun to attach this component and hide all of the stuff in there. And then of course the wire will run through this small slot I've prepared for it here. So it's just I'm just getting started, and then I'm going to test it out. Well, the soldering is complete and it turned out quite nice. I've attached the ground or 0 wire in the middle, and that way I could just attach the 4 legs of the LEDs in the center, and then I have the resistors and all of the wires for them. Unfortunately I didn't have a white wire, so the loose green wire is actually the white LED, and luckily I actually didn't plan this, but the 5 wires fits perfectly in the small gap I made for it. So now I just need to use some hot glue to secure all of these so they won't move around, and then I'll attach the back like this, and then I'm going to test it. I'm fairly confident that it will work. It might be a good idea to test it beforehand, before I attach the back, but we'll take the chance. I actually managed to do my first small mini projector. Let's just test it out. I'm going to attach a battery here, and then let's see if it works. Hopefully I've connected the wires correctly. I would be kind of ashamed if I attached the red wire and the green lit up and so on. So let's see. First I'll just attach the ground wire. I'm doing this outside the camera view. I only have 2 hands. So let's see what happens if I connect it to green. Oh, I just fell off the ground wire. This is just loosely connected. I just twist the wires together. This is just a small test. Let's see what happens if I connect it to green. We have green light. Connect it to red, blue, and finally the white light. And it actually seems to work, all of them. I've almost finished the mini projectors right now. I've soldered all of the parts, and I'm just using this hot glue gun to secure all of these pieces inside. I have tested all of the wiring, so I'm sure that it all works before I'm doing this, and I'm just attaching the back side of the mini projector here, and I'm doing that using hot glue. This works really well on light components such as this, and it's very fast to apply, and it cures also cures very fast. So it's a perfect solution in this situation. And I'm just pressing the back down here on it and removing excess hot glue from all of the sides. So, and then just like that, I have one of my mini projectors. I'm just going to use a black paint to pick out the edge here to make sure that there isn't any chrome effect up there, and then I'm going to add a piece of plastic in the front to make it look really professional. But yeah, one finished. I only need to do this with I have 2 more over here, but there are 4 finished all in all now, so I'm almost finished with this, and then I can attach it to the base, and that would be great. Even though I spent several months working on this project now, the time actually flew by. I've had so much fun and enjoyment of actually building this Terminator, and I really enjoyed the entire process. I've made some good stuff, and I definitely made some bad stuff. I have learned so much while working on this project. Some fans of the project on YouTube suggested that I should make a video about all of the errors and flaws I made. And I actually think this is a great idea, to make a video where I describe all of the things I would have done differently if I were to make a new model with the knowledge I have now. I think this will be a great video, and I'm definitely going to follow up on that pretty soon. Within a week or so, I'm going to make a dedicated video where I present the end result of this project. In this video, I'm going to show off the T-800 endoskeleton in all its glory and with all its functions, just for you viewers to see it without me ranting about how I did this and how I did that. So this should be a shorter video than the ones I posted so far, but it will be a very focused video just on showing how this project actually ended up. So I'm personally looking very much forward to doing this, as I spent so much time on actually building this model. I think it deserves a shorter video promoting it and presenting it for itself. So I hope you'll wait and take a look at that video when I release it. In this episode, I've used a lot of time on weathering the model, fixing up the base, and adding the small lights that will illuminate the entire build. So now we only need to do one thing to call this episode complete. We need to take a look at the build so far. Please enjoy. I'm just going to give you all a walkthrough of the build so far. This is almost finished, and I'm really happy about the results. So I'm going to give you a walkthrough of the entire build. First of all, if we start up here, we have the head. I am very happy about how this turned out. The eyes are just glowing like I've seen you, and they look really mean. The teeth has a really nice effect. I like that. I've added some rust on the skull, sort of to show that this is a Terminator that has been in function for quite some time. And as you can see on the chest and all of the inner pistons here, it has a lot of rust. And I actually like this. At the beginning I thought I had given it a bit too much rust, but when I watch it right now, I think it looks just perfect. This is a Terminator that is battle hardened. It has been proven on the battlefield, and it's fought its share of battles or combats. So I think this looks really great. And I have, of course, as I said, and I've said several times, I am using the effect with the rust to hide misprints and errors in the print. And I've done that especially here and in these areas. And here I did the PLA welding. I've used this rust to hide that PLA weld. And it actually looks really great, because rust will usually assemble in the recesses. And this is also the places I have had the most printing faults. So this is perfect. The chest looks great. I think it's perfect. Not as shiny as it was before, but as I said before, this is a better Terminator, and you can still see reflections in it. So it's actually quite good and has a really metallic finish. This could actually cheat one and to think that it was made out of metal. If we take a look at the gun, I am very happy about how this gun turned out. The metal I did on this has a real nice shine to it, but it still looks roughened up and it looks beaten and battered. This is a weapon that has been in use, and the matte black has a really nice touch to it. So combined with the metal parts and a bit of rust and dirt on the weapon, I think this looks great. The light, I didn't like it at first, that it had all of these, you could see these single LEDs here, but I'm actually liking it. I think it looks great. So I might create some flashing look in it, but so far this is just perfect. If we take a look a bit further down here at the hip section, I had a lot of misprints here, or not misprint. I had a lot of layer lines that was clearly visible, and it's completely hidden now with the rust. So this is just perfect. Absolutely great work with that. It looks just as I wanted it to. And taking a look further down, we have the base down here. This has the control panel, which I didn't like as much in the beginning, but now watching it together with all of this, it actually looks really great. I am very happy about this. Sometimes you need to see a thing a couple of times before you get used to it, and I've gotten used to this. I think it looks just as it should, so I'm not going to change anything here. I've added some shell casings around. I actually just picked them up and threw them from around half a meter or meters distance, saw where they fell. That looked more natural that way, and then I glued them on and added some pigments on top of them to make them look like they had some dust over them and been there for a while. So a bit down here too. The 3 skulls, when I mounted them in the beginning, these were just Halloween skulls, which had some different tones of bone color. So I've used the same color, and I've just made sure that all of these skulls now has the same tone of bone. I made them all white because I think this looks a bit more like in the Terminator movie, and this is a real improvement to them. So I especially like the skull on the back. I'm just going to go over there. I think this one turned out really well. So and then we, of course, there are several things more to say about this model. I could address the way he's standing. I think this is a really dynamic feel of the way the model stands. He's pointing the gun in this direction, like he is had been shooting on something and he was fighting someone, and then suddenly he turns over here because he has spotted something new, and the way his arm is located here, it looks like he's ready to turn around and engage the new enemy. I imagine this like he has seen something. It could be you or some other ones he's just saw, and that creates the atmosphere of this being a really scary model. Just think that he has just seen you standing here, and now he knows you're there. He's ready to turn around. This is a really scary moment when he just spotted you. So I think that's great. And that was more or less a walkthrough of the model itself, but then we have all of the new features I've added. On the control panel, I have these 4 buttons up here. They control these small lights I've made. You can see these. I am going to add a cover up here to hide the interior of it. But if I push the red one, then I actually turn on the red light, and you can see how it shines on up from below on the robot. And I'm going to turn off the light in the room in a minute and take a couple of pictures. But we have a red light, then we have a clear blue light. I think this is going to look great on the Terminator. I have a green light, also a great color. And finally I have a white light, just for presenting and making all of the chrome shine up. So these can be engaged, all of them if you want to, or some of them. And I think this turned out pretty well. It's my own 3D design, both the mounts and the mini projectors up here. And they turned out just as I wanted them to. I made several attempts of designing this, and I ended up with this design, the curving design here. I think that suits the base pretty well. Then we have the buttons for the eye programs, and then of course we have all of the audio programs. So and here you can hear there's a bit humming in the speakers, and that's actually due to I have a lot of wires running in here, and these wires get really close to the MP3 player module. So I need to do something to remove all of the noise from those wires. But the audio, it just sounds really great. It's it's just very nice. And I have these 7 tunes in it I can play, and I'm going to show them in a later video. But that was the walkthrough of the model in we're just going to turn on the blue light here and take a look at him. Can you see how that blue light just shines up all over, even on the ceiling here, casting shadows and everything. So let's turn off the light in here and see how he looks when I do that. Before I turn the lights off completely, I'm just having a simple lamp pointing away from the robot right now, away from the Terminator. I just wanted to see how he actually looked with a bit of a diffuse light coming from the back. I really enjoy looking at this. Oh crap, this looks great. This is a really scary robot. And let's just try to turn off the rest of the light and then see how he looks. This is a really mean model. This creates so much atmosphere having him just in this light, and the blue light here is so great. I'm going to try some of the other modes. Let's try the red one and see how that looks. It's a lot darker, and I don't think my camera can quite pick it all out, but if you could see this for real, you can still see all of his pistons and the metal. It's probably just very dark here on the camera, but this looks really great. He's really spooky like this. And I don't know, I think the red one will be the one that has the least amount of color. And in the green mode, I probably prefer the blue, but this also looks great. It's just quite another tone in it. And then finally the white light, which also looks really great. My camera isn't capable of picking all of these colors up, but with the eye you can actually see the entire Terminator, so it looks really great. And it casts some very nice shadows, really strange shadows up here. So I'm just going to turn on the the blue light. Once more, I think this is the best one. This looks great. And then the ambient light here. So as you see it here with the light coming from behind, it's more like I actually saw the model in reality. But see how this shines in the chrome. This is absolutely the most astonishing build I have ever made on any 3D printer. The effect where I made this base with all of these lights, I'm going to use that at a later time. I am working on a couple of other full-scale builds right now, and I'm going to use these mini projectors I've designed for that, because whoa, that creates an atmosphere. This is a really win for the build. This is a scary dude. Well, anyway, thanks for watching. I really hope you enjoyed this. As I have said before, I'm going to make a presentation video where I just present the model and only the model in a video, with me speaking a lot less. I really hope that you have all enjoyed following this project here on YouTube. Personally, I know that I'm looking forward to sharing all of my future projects with you all. So stay safe, and remember, no project is too small or too large. Always feel free to post a comment in the section below. I really appreciate all the questions and all the feedback I get, and I do my very best to answer as much as possible. And if you enjoyed the content of this video, please consider subscribing to the channel. That would really mean a lot to me. So thank you all for watching, and I'm looking forward to seeing you next time.